DeepSeek AI was only released a few days ago and it already took the world by storm. A few days after DeepSeek AI was released, there was a huge stock market crash and stocks like Nvidia crashed as much as $600 billion. Yes, Nvidia stock in one single day dropped like 17 or 18%, crashing, wiping out from its market cap $600 billion. This is more than some of the largest companies in the world, right? Just see how much Nvidia stock price declined in one single day. But why did this happen? And are people overreacting to DeepSeek AI? During this video, I'm going to bring you 10 myths about DeepSeek AI. DeepSeek AI might not be exactly what you think it is. I think there is a lot of misunderstanding, a lot of potentially lies around DeepSeek AI. And today, I'm going to debunk 10 of those myths about DeepSeek AI. And I'm going to start with the cost. How much did DeepSeek actually cost? So there are some rumors around. Actually, the rumor comes from the DeepSeek, the white paper from December 2024 that shows that DeepSeek training costs $5.5 million. And people have been talking, oh my God, now it's so much cheaper to train an AI. OpenAI spent $10 billion and Anthropic, the Claude creator, spent $7 billion. And then suddenly we have DeepSeek AI spending only $5.5 million. And no, that's not true. So some specialists already said that DeepSeek AI would require way more computational power, way more GPUs, and most likely DeepSeek AI actually spent anything between $500 million and $1.3 billion. So probably not the $5.5 million. And DeepSeek AI themselves, they say in the paper where they published the 5.5 million spent, they say, note that aforementioned costs includes only the official training of the DeepSeek V3, excluding the costs associated with prior research and ablation experiments on architectures, algorithms, and data. So no, it's very far from $5.5 million. Most likely they spent something close to $1 billion, which is way more realistic. Okay, myth number 2, DeepSeek stole from OpenAI. A lot of people saying that DeepSeek was trained on OpenAI, and the reality is that OpenAI already many months ago blocked IPs from China. That's why in Hong Kong I need to use a VPN to have access to OpenAI, to have access to ChatGPT. But the stealing, they really didn't steal, but they use a lot OpenAI, a lot of ChatGPT to train the DeepSeek AI. So they use something called distillation. What is this distillation? Distillation is basically relying on another AI to train your new AI model. It's like having an AI teacher and an AI student. And the AI teacher of DeepSeek was ChatGPT. And that's why a while ago, if you ask DeepSeek AI, which AI model are you? DeepSeek AI will reply, I am ChatGPT. Because it really thought it was ChatGPT, because it was trained by ChatGPT. And in the meantime, they changed that. Is this considered stealing? Well, this is a common practice in the AI space, in the AI research space. They don't really call this stealing. Yeah, maybe not the most ethical thing. Okay, myth number 3. Myth number 3 is DeepSeek cannot generate images. Well, you are wrong. DeepSeek AI can already generate images. This is not part yet of the main model, but if you go to Hugging Face, you can already find the Genius Pro DeepSeek AI image generator that can generate images. It's not as good as DALL-E or Midjourney and so on, but it's getting pretty good. Now, next, what's the next myth? DeepSeek success means US investments were wasted. Well, US and many other countries, but especially the US, they have been spending like tens of billions of dollars building data centers, research, AI research, building GPU manufacturing capacity, buying tons of GPUs. Nvidia has been investing so much money in GPU development, and now all these investments are wasted? Well, no, I don't think so. So, there is something called the Jevons paradox that basically says that when something gets really efficient, you get even more usage for that thing. This happens like in, for example, car fuel efficiency, right? Cars use less and less fuel, less and less energy per mile. And what happens is that we actually spend even more fuel. We spend more fuel now than we used to spend 50 years ago when cars were more inefficient. And why is that? Well, because the more cars get efficient, actually the more kilometers or miles you drive and bigger cars you get. Now people have SUVs and so on that actually increase the fuel consumption. Or you have, for example, the LED light example. LEDs spend way less electricity than incandescent light bulbs, right? But so why does the electricity consumption for lighting actually increase worldwide? Well, because now we use lighting way more than we used to use because it's so cheap, right? LEDs are so cheap. So actually we increase electricity consumption because LEDs are so cheap, LED lamps. Or computing power, you know? Every 2 years, thanks to the Moore's Law, every 2 years the computational power doubles. And it's not that we have less need for computational power, for computer power. We have more and more need for computer power, despite things getting way more efficient every 2 years. Every 2 years, it dropped by half. The efficiency doubles, right? So are we now using way less computers because they are way more efficient? No, it's the other way around. And the same thing with AI. Now we have an AI that is way more efficient. It will bring huge efficiency leaps for the AI space, way more competition, and this will bring even more demands for AI. And no, the US investments and all the investments have been made in huge data centers and GPUs is not wasted at all. Okay, next myth. DeepSeek has created an unbreakable moat around itself. No, well, actually, DeepSeek made a huge service to the humanity because DeepSeek AI, the R1 model, is totally open source. And it's open source with the MIT open source license, which means that you can copy, you can use it, you can repurpose, you can modify, you can resell it, and you don't need to pay a cent to DeepSeek AI, to the company. So this is pretty cool, right? So yeah, DeepSeek AI is not like building a wall around the AI that developed, unlike OpenAI. OpenAI is not that open, right? Next myth. DeepSeek is the best AI model available. Well, DeepSeek actually scores pretty well in different benchmarks. It either scores the #1 or #2 depending on the benchmark. It scores the #2 in terms of artificial analysis quality index. It scores #2 in reasoning and knowledge. Scores #1 in quantitative reasoning and math. In terms of other aspects, for example, in terms of speed, it's actually pretty slow. It's one of the slowest LLM models that you can try. If you try it yourself, you will see that it's pretty slow, especially when compared with ChatGPT. But speed is not everything, right? Actually, DeepSeek AI innovated in two different things. One is the chain of thought. So when you ask something to DeepSeek AI, you see the reasoning happening and what the AI is thinking. And the chain of thought is quite good and it's quite innovative. You see like all the step-by-step how the AI is solving the question or the problem that you are asking. And they also innovated with something called the mix of experts, MOE. And it's basically one of the ways they managed to be way more efficient is that instead of having like a huge AI brain, they divide it into smaller AI specialists. So you have like, imagine smaller brains, one is specialized in language, one is specialized in math, one is specialized in coding. I don't know exactly the specializations, but this is basically how DeepSeek works. This mix of experts, when you ask something, it goes to one of the AI experts instead of like having to request energy from the entire AI brain, let's say. Okay, next myth. DeepSeek models are a direct challenge to the OpenAI's capabilities, suggesting US AI is inefficient. Not really inefficient. Well, DeepSeek AI is actually standing on the shoulders of giants, right? They made some innovation, but they made these thanks to all the investments that have been made in the past by all the other AI models, right? From OpenAI, from Anthropic, from Grok. It's thanks to these billions and billions of dollars of investments that now DeepSeek can actually do this, right? Okay, next myth. All the data goes back to the Chinese government. Well, as you know, DeepSeek AI is a Chinese company. Chinese companies, any company related to the internet, to data, they need to store the data in a way that the Chinese government can check the data. So does that mean that the Chinese government, the CCP, has access to your data? Well, it has, but typically they will only have access to it. They only require it to have access to it if there is a legal justification for it, which in China is kind of a gray area. But yeah, that's the answer. Next, DeepSeek success means NVIDIA GPUs dominance is over. Well, DeepSeek AI, they had to use a ton of GPUs. So according to some researchers, they said that DeepSeek AI had to use over 50,000 NVIDIA H100 GPUs and H800 GPUs to train the DeepSeek AI models. As I said again, NVIDIA stock dropped a lot, dropped 17% slightly after DeepSeek AI was released. I do think that NVIDIA stock is a bit overpriced, but it's not because of these. And again, because of the Jevons paradox that says that the more efficient something gets, the cheaper it gets, the more demand you get. I think we'll still have a lot of demand ahead of us for NVIDIA GPUs and for AMD and for Intel and for all the other companies. So I continue very bullish in the AI tech space in GPUs, tech space in GPUs and CPUs and so on, and computing power and data centers and cloud providers, because in the future the requirements for computational power, it will only increase, right? It's never going back. The genie is out of the bottle. Okay, next myth. DeepSeek didn't use illegal GPUs. So, you know, the US has these they have banned the export of certain kinds of GPUs to China to try to slow down the AI development in China. But it seems that the DeepSeek CEO, Liang Wenfeng, he was a very visionary entrepreneur, and before the US ban, he was already buying tons of GPUs, tons of NVIDIA GPUs, way before the ban. So one, they bought before the ban, and then second, interestingly, since the ban of GPUs was implemented from US to China, the revenue, NVIDIA revenue from Singapore multiplied by I don't know how much, but there was a huge increase, 8x in fact, 8x increase in NVIDIA revenue from Singapore. So why do you think like such a small country like Singapore is buying so many GPUs, NVIDIA GPUs? Well, you know, like if you have been in Singapore, 70% of the Singapore population are Chinese. You know, tons of mainland Chinese people have companies in Singapore. Well, I think you can understand what I'm trying to say. So these are the 10 myths that I wanted to bring to you about DeepSeek AI. Actually, I'm enjoying using DeepSeek AI, but I think we now see a commoditization of AI models. AI models start to be kind of all the same. You know, ChatGPT 01, ChatGPT 4, Claude, Grok, DeepSeek. You try these models, and they are kind of very similar to each other, right? While 1-2 years ago there was big differences, now they get very similar. So I think what we see now is a commoditization of these AI models. They are getting all very similar, and I see the DeepSeek development as something very interesting, very cool. But now, like, who is going to be the leader in the future in 5 years, 10 years from now? Like, really, no one knows. No one knows, because 1 or 2 years ago, if you ask, like, who is going to be the worldwide leader forever in terms of AI models, you'll say it's OpenAI 100%, and boom, suddenly you drop the DeepSeek bomb, and OpenAI is no longer like the top. Still like quite good, but they are now threatened by a company that is not even a tech company. DeepSeek was and is an hedge fund. They are not even like really an AI company. So very interesting developments. I'm looking forward to see the future. The only thing I know that after seeing this is that we are closer to AGI and ASI, artificial general intelligence and artificial superintelligence. I'm very excited for this. I'm positioning myself and my investments to benefit from the future of AI development, and you know, tech is only accelerating, and we need to take advantage of this, because if our jobs are replaced in the future by humanoid robots, by AIs, by whatever the tech is, you need to be very well positioned to benefit from this and to profit from this. That's why I have built the Be Limitless community. In the Be Limitless community, I share everything about AI, about my investments. I share how I retired early with my stock investments, my crypto investments, my ETF investments. And and if you're interested, check the link below for the Be Limitless community, and I will see you in the next video.